boys.
All of Detroit sports teams live on Woodward. All of Detroit's sports coverage lives on Woodward Sports. Driving the best in Detroit sports coverage.
Welcome to the Morning Woodward Show here on the Woodward Sports Network. Thank you, everyone, for being patient. There's no excuse. I'm not even going to try and excuse what happened. We're 30 minutes late. That's embarrassing. But the fact that you're still here, it's all we can ask for. So we appreciate you for that. We're at 5 Iron here at the Cambria Hotel in Detroit. It's a beautiful location. Tons of golf simulators. We were here last Thursday. Me, Booner, Lucas, and Braylon. We're having some fun. And this place is beautiful. It really is. It's unfortunate that we had to start a little late here, but we're finally live. We got a lot to get to. But again, there's no excuse for Sam Flannel.
No.
There just isn't. And it does piss me off. It does. But the boys were working. Lucas and JB, they're trying everything to get it up. And we're finally up.
Yeah, no, that's the thing, Jeff. I get it. You're taking accountability for the network, but the guys, Lucas, JB, just everybody here did a great job of kind of troubleshooting this because this is a pressure cooker. I mean, Trust me, I know. I spent a large portion of my first couple years here behind the scenes, and those situations are just a gauntlet. And you know what? They didn't let the stress get to them. They persevered, and everything is working just fine now. So I appreciate everyone in this room. Lucas, JB, you guys are great. It's not your guys' fault.
No, and again, I was poking some fun because and people are saying the mics are good, right? Okay. Yeah, okay. Just making sure you guys are messing with me here because the mics better be working. We just got the stream up.
I would have been like,
I don't want no more issues. We want to get into these Lions and Jaguars joint practice notes. We got a ton. Matt Broder was down there yesterday. We talked to him before the joint practice. He was there during the joint practice, and he sent us an Excel sheet, or not an Excel sheet, but basically just a note page with everything he saw at training camp. So we'll get into all that, the juicy stuff, of course, along with injury updates because Amon-Ra St. Brown went down yesterday with an ankle injury, but he was back up on the field. He didn't come back into the practice, but he's okay, expected to be okay. Sure. It is worrying because he was out last year. 2 games with an ankle injury, left early for one of those games and missed the following game. So for Amon-Ra St. Brown, it's something to keep an eye on. He should be all right. Jameson Williams, hamstring injury. Yeah. That's something that we're going to get into in a little bit here. But those two are expected to be all right, and hopefully Jameson Williams, no setbacks for this Saturday against the Jaguars. Sam Flannel.
Oh yeah, we're gonna get into that a little bit more later in terms of Jameson Williams. But yeah, Amon-Ra St. Brown, just a little bit of a preview. If Amon-Ra St. Brown goes down for any length of time, not saying that he is with this injury, that could be one of the positions where they don't have enough depth to make up for a loss like that. So hopefully he's okay. All reports I'm hearing are that it's minor and it's precautionary. So as long as he's out on the field in week 1 and is available for as many games as he could possibly be, ideally 17, everything will be just fine. You just never like to see anybody go down, especially when it's a guy like Amon-Ra St. Brown.
I mean, we talk about this wide receiver depth, and at least at this point, I would say it's the most frightening part of this team because if Amon-Ra St. Brown goes down, it's Khalif Raymond time. That's what we're in right now. That's the position we're in right now. So we'll get into that a little bit. I know the poll went up. What should the punishment be for the boys? And
what one?
Some interesting results here. Lucas to run down Woodward naked, 32%.
Hey,
Sam
let's
Flannel.
make something very clear now that we got me and JB's camp working. All right. We were working our ass off for you guys here, okay? We went to every measure. We had to shut down the computer like 3 or 4 times. You guys drop in the chat you want to see I suck at golf. We'll turn the camera here in a little bit. If you want to see me embarrass myself on the range, we can do that. When we go back to Woodward, we can think of something. But, yeah, at least we got it going. I appreciate you guys staying on. But just like Sam Laporta, he dropped that pass first preseason game. We dropped the audio here, but we're only going to get better. We're only going to get better from here. Me and JB are Yellow Jacket guys, too, just like Laporta. So we're going to keep it moving, babe. We're going to keep it pushing.
I respect that. That's accountability right there, boys.
Yep.
It really is. Yeah, 9:40. Me and Sam Flannel are going to attempt to just go to the practice range right now in this golf simulator and see what we got left in the tank. I'm curious. Sam Flannel may even look better than me. I don't know.
I don't know about that, man.
Michael Gentry's over here. Booner, they're in person with us hanging out. They're swinging. They're hitting bombs on these golf simulators. But again, I wanted to kind of just talk about what we're going to talk about today because we're going to go to break in a little bit. I know people are pissed about that, but we have to stay on schedule here. We'll try to resume as much as we can. We're going to go through Matt Broder's notes on the joint practice yesterday. We're going to talk a little bit about the wide receiver core. Are you concerned if an Amon-Ra St. Brown goes down, especially those first 6 games? We're going to talk about Brian Branch, the preseason as a whole, and then at 9:30, we're going to talk about some teams we think could be worse to first. So, again, a lot of football to get to. I know we're a little late here, but it doesn't take us too much off, of course. We're going to get back. Show goes on as usual, but before we go to break, Sam Flannel, could you tell everybody about our friends over at Lady Jane's?
All right, just so fitting that the first read I get to show off my fresh cut that I just got the other day from Lady Jane's because they always do me up right. And how would you like to win not 1 but 2 vehicles of your choice, one for you and one for your wife, your girlfriend, or your best bud? Get to Lady Jane's today for an award-winning haircut and automatically enter for your chance to win, courtesy of Les Stanford Buick GMC of Ferndale. Lady Jane's open 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. It's wicked awesome.
Hey, this is Mr. Kearney, Chief Academic Officer at Academy of Warren. I want to welcome you to the brand new field house. The state-of-the-art facility has a regulation basketball court, volleyball court, soccer field. It can be used for 7-on-7 football. Our K-8 academic features AM, PM, latchkey, small classroom sizes, Learning Street, futuristic media center, free breakfast and lunch, Houghton Mifflin curriculum, academic games, K-8 athletics, and more. Enroll today at academywarren.net.
You have an opinion? Make sure it's seen and heard. Corner, jumper. Tweet us, hop on the YouTube chat, slide in the DMS at Woodward Sports on all social media.
Hey, it's Sean Jordan from the Sports Marketing Agency, and SMA wouldn't be who we are without our amazing partners.
Thank you so much, Sean. You know, at Detroit Wayne, we want to serve as a resource for you and your families. We offer mental health services, substance use disorder services throughout our communities, and we want to be that source and resource within the community.
If you or a loved one are suffering from a mental health or substance abuse issue, please don't hesitate to call 1-800-241-4949.
Play, practice, and party at 5 Iron Golf, where we are at right now, located inside of the Cambria Hotel. Downtown's newest sports bar has 13 TrackMan simulators, certified instructors, and a full bar and restaurant. Mention promo code Woodward at checkout for 50% off your first visit, and visit 5irongolf.com to tee up good times. Woodward Sports Network is also participating in a Thursday night golf league. We don't have it tonight, but every other Thursday on the simulators with fans. This league is hosted by 5 Iron Golf and co-presented by Mark White and Associates and Long Drink Alcoholic Beverages. And every single show, not just us, Big D Energy, Ermanni and Edwards, Woodward Heavyweights, and of course, as I said before, Morning Woodward Show are broadcasting live from 5 Iron Golf today. As I am speaking, Mike Gentry is getting up some swings. He's actually pretty decent. If you guys want to come battle him later today, that would be great. Booner won't be here, but if you want to get here within the next few minutes, I'm sure you could battle Booner as well. I might fake sick because I don't want to embarrass myself, but that is all well and good. And yes, you guys can all come down here all day long if you want. We will say hi. We are all very, very nice people. And we are at 5 Iron Golf, and that is 5irongolf.com.
We're back. It's the Morning Woodward Show here on the Woodward Sports Network. If you're so gracious enough, don't forget, leave a like on the video. We may not deserve it, Sam Flannel, but if you could, drop a like. We'll try to get to 100 likes at least by the end of the first hour. But I did want to get into the wide receiver stuff because I kind of teased it already. Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jamison Williams banged up. And we already know one thing.
What's up?
Jamison Williams is out the first 6 games. Non-negotiable. It's already decided. Now, for Amon-Ra St. Brown, at least in his first 2 years, he's, for the most part, been healthy. He isn't a guy that gets hurt. He's a guy that when he does get hurt, he refuses to leave the field unless he's forced to. So that's a guy that you love. He's a number 1 wide receiver. But the question I have is, are you concerned about the wide receiver depth? Because they signed, a Marvin Jones Jr. They traded for a Denzel Mims, which we don't know what to expect out of him. You expect him to kind of be that deep threat, what you lost with DJ, at least for the first 6 games until Jamison Williams returns. But what if a scenario, Sam Flannel, I want to pose this to you, the first 6 games, if there's any chance or any, situation where Amon-Ra St. Brown goes down, how concerned are you?
If Amon-Ra St. Brown goes down and Jameson Williams is out, I am very, very concerned because when we look at this wide receiver depth, when I was doing the prep for this last night, I'm going to kind of do what I did yesterday when it comes to the edge rushers and defensive line. I am going to work backwards. If you have Amon-Ra St. Brown there, you've got a luxury that a lot of teams don't have, and that, of course, is a true number one top 10 wide receiver in this league. I don't care what anybody says, Amon-Ra St. Brown is a number one. We all know that Jameson Williams is out the first 6 weeks. Hopefully he comes back and gives us a lot in the last 11, but he's still a relative unknown. Yep. But if those two are out, if Amon-Ra St. Brown is out at all in the first 6 weeks, who you got? You got Marvin Jones, who was at one time a 1,000-yard receiver. He's not what he once was. Last year he had 529 and 3 touchdowns. If he gives you that, I think you're pretty happy with it, but if he has to play a bigger role, that's not ideal. And then, of course, you have Josh Reynolds. And here's the thing about Josh Reynolds that I think sometimes gets underlooked. We all know he's been a favorite target of Jared Goff, both in LA and with Detroit. But this offense in 2021, I think Josh Reynolds coming here was a big part of it taking off, along with Ben Johnson. Because in that 7-game stretch, which Jameson Williams is going to be out for 6 weeks, he gave you 19 receptions for 306 yards, 2 touchdowns, 16.1 yards per catch. That was the best stretch of his career. And the fact that he might have to play a bigger role, especially with J-Mo out, he has proven that he can be very, very effective, at least for a short sample size, and also be a pretty damn good number 3 or number 4 wide receiver, even if the full core is healthy. And then you have Khalif Raymond, somebody who often gets forgotten about, but he, on an offense that was very, very good last year, top 5 in scoring, was the second leading receiver on the team in terms of yards. I think some people forget about that, but that did happen. He did that over a full season. And then, of course, you have Denzel Mims, who's another one. Talented, but a relative unknown. We love his skill set. We know he wasn't in the best situation, but his career high in receiving yards for a season is 357. So when we're comparing the depth of the wide receiver room versus the depth of the edge rushers and defensive line, I think the wide receivers is a little bit more concerning, I would say, especially since Jameson Williams is going to be out for the first 6 weeks.
No, I'm concerned. I really am. I mean, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jameson has to still prove himself in the NFL. I mean, we've seen flashes, but undoubtedly he has to at least establish himself. Amon-Ra St. Brown has proven he's the only guy that can consistently get separation. A guy that you know will be open most of the time. A Josh Reynolds, a Khalif Raymond, a newly acquired Denzel Mims, even a Marvin Jones, recently signed this offseason. Those guys are solid, but can they get separation consistently like Amon-Ra? No, they can't. And Funky brings up a great point here by chiming in, and appreciate all you guys again for showing support and chiming into the show. And he says it will affect Goff, and he says if Brown is out, Goff will struggle. Just look at what happened after he was tossed from the Dallas game. After that, I believe that was a concussion when he left early. And there's no doubt, man. There's no doubt. I'm concerned if Amon-Ra goes out. I like Khalif Raymond. They re-signed him. They gave him the extension. But he's not Amon-Ra. Even Jameson, that's your 1-2 punch. Even a guy like Sam Laporta and Jahmyr Gibbs, 2 guys you just recently drafted, who are going to be now pretty dependable pass catchers, guys that are going to use in the passing game. You can't expect 2 rookies to fill the void. So I do think a lot of what happens this season, especially through the first 6 games, and even after that, the entire season, because even if you're in Week 10 and Amon-Ra goes out, I'm still concerned. Like Jameson Williams, I like him. I think he'll be great. But if he's your number 1 and you got no Amon-Ra, and he's a guy that really is playing his first full season in the NFL, you're going to have some problems. Yeah. So I don't think it's unfair to say that if Amon-Ra gets hurt at any point this season, you're in some tough waters. It is what it is. The good news is you have an offensive line, which is the central part of this offense, right? The run game, keeping a clean pocket for Jared Goff. Those 2 things at least will be stable. I would say I'm more worried about a guy like Frank Ragnow. That's fair, right? His health, because we know what happens when Frank isn't there. I mean, we saw it in year 1 of Dan Campbell. They won 3 games. Not saying it was entirely because of Frank, but when Frank goes down, you have problems. I'm more concerned about the offensive line, but no doubt Amon-Ra St. Brown would probably be the second biggest loss of this team. Well, so he has to stay healthy for this team to have success.
Absolutely. And to be fair, I know this is a topic on everybody's mind because Amon-Ra St. Brown, he went down in practice. Again, I don't think it's super serious, but to be fair, he has been relatively durable throughout his career. You would take him playing 15, 16 games this year if you could guarantee it. I know every single person in this room 100% would. So, I mean, the concerns about Amon-Ra St. Brown being hurt, I think that's just a situation where anybody can get hurt. And if he did,
it's the NFL.
Yeah, of course, Jared Goff would obviously look much, much worse. He might look like a pretty damn average quarterback, but to be fair, there are a lot of teams who, if their number one wide receiver went down, they would be in a little bit of trouble.
No question.
I mean, even a team like Cincinnati, we like T. Higgins, we like Tyler Boyd, but if they lost Jamar Chase, which they did for a period last year, it's still a problem. If you lose Tyreek Hill or even Jalen Waddle on Miami, it's still a problem, even though you've got adequate help,
right.
of course.
But at least with those two respective teams, if a Tyreek Hill or a Jamar Chase goes out, you have a T. Higgins and a Waddle who you've seen get 1,000 yards in the NFL.
Yeah.
Jameson is not that yet. We know the potential, but he has not done that yet. I mean, to your point, Sam Flannel, about Jameson, and this is where me and you know, I'm a little more, I guess, understanding of what to expect out of JMO because I kind of knew what I was getting last year. But even to you, and you would agree, he hasn't done anything in the NFL yet.
No, he hasn't.
So he has to prove that. Now, when you talk about this offense and how Ben Johnson's constructed this offense, the thing I love about it is it's not dependent. Yes, Amon-Ra St. Brown's the number one wide receiver, but that ball gets spread around.
Sure.
Now, that's the benefit of losing a guy like an Amon-Ra St. Brown, even though it would be detrimental to this team. At least you know that the ball still is going to be spread. It's going to be a Sam Laporta. He's going to be making plays. A Jahmyr Gibbs is going to be making plays. James Mitchell, you might see more of him this year. A Khalif Raymond you can always depend on. Josh Reynolds, obviously the rapport with him and Jared. But regardless, even if the offense is set up that way, which it gives you a little more confidence that, you know, if a guy goes down, it's not an offense where they're dependent on one receiver, heavily dependent. But yeah, Amon-Ra St. Brown, the skill level from him to everybody else, this isn't 2019 Marvin Jones.
Right.
Like, I get everyone's excited, but this is 2023 Marvin Jones, who can provide you some stuff, right, and be a solid piece, but he's not going to get you 1,000 yards. So it is an issue, but I'm curious how, you know, at least Amon-Ra holds up because he is a big part of this passing game. He just is. Even though I like Laporta and Gibbs, it's mostly on Amon-Ra St. Brown. He's the guy I think will go for 1,300 yards this year.
Yeah, I mean, saying that he's a big part of the passing game is, I mean, it's obvious. I'm not saying like, okay, Captain Obvious, but still, it is a big, big part of this offense as a whole because he is without a shadow of a doubt right now your best skill position player, and I think that will continue at least for a couple more years. We'll see how a guy like Jahmyr Gibbs or Jameson Williams, how they develop, but still. And then you talked about Marvin Jones. If Marvin Jones has a similar role to what he did last year on Jacksonville, playing behind Christian Kirk, playing behind Zay Jones, that is ideal. If he has to even play number one for a game, I don't necessarily like it. And you mentioned Sam Laporta and Jahmyr Gibbs. You're going to have some pass catchers who we expect to at least have big rookie years, I would say. Sam Laporta is going to be the starting tight end. Jahmyr Gibbs is probably going to lead all rookie running backs in receptions and receiving yards. That's all well and good, but when we even talk about, you still need wide receivers. That's why I kind of stuck to wide receivers at first, because you even look at the Baltimore Ravens teams of a couple of years past. They have Mark Andrews, but you also look at their wide receivers, particularly last year, you're just kind of like,
wasn't impressive.
It wasn't impressive, and obviously with Amon-Ra, it's kind of a non-issue for Detroit, but that's the thing. When you look at depth, the wide receiver room, the more I look at it, the more I dissect it, the more that's the one that I'm the most concerned with if someone goes down. If everyone's able to play their roles and Josh Reynolds is able to be like the 3 or the 4 and Marvin Jones as well, even Denzel Mims maybe just makes a few plays, that's all well and good. But if there's injuries and somebody has to play a bigger role, that's where that's where I'm concerned. And I think it is a rightful concern. I think this team's still going to be very, very good, even if they have to withstand an Amon-Ra St. Brown injury, God forbid, obviously, but still, it's a concern. When you see Amon-Ra and JMO go down yesterday, you're kind of your heart stops a little bit. Is that fair?
Yeah, no, it's fair. And again, you look how defenses respond to having a guy like Jameson on the field. Yeah. And I'll get into the notes in a couple of minutes here because Matt Broder listed that. As soon as Jameson walks out on that field, the defensive, at least the defensive backs, things change, right? You need a guy over the top at all times. You have to at least account for Jameson Williams. For Amon-Ra St. Brown, though, if he's there, it's the same impact. The defense changes completely. Now they understand, okay, we need a guy on Amon-Ra St. Brown, probably our best corner, and you're going to try and bracket him at times. And if you have a J-Mo on the field, now you have even more issues. So think about it. If those two guys aren't there the first 6 games, if Amon-Ra goes down, Josh Reynolds, Khalif Raymond, and a rookie tight end and Sam Laporta, and I'm not trying to knock guys, but that's the reality. Marvin Jones, the secondary of opposing teams is going to take a deep breath of, woo, when those guys are on the field. So it is a concern. Now, hopefully Amon-Ra can stay healthy because this offense, we expect him to be a top 5 unit this year, and he's a big part of that, no doubt about it. I'll tell you what, we'll go to break. When we get back, we'll get into some of these training camp notes, the joint practice that Matt Broder attended, and I'll tell you all about those details. But before we do that, I got to tell you about our friends over at SMA, because the sports marketing agency helps spread awareness about mental health and substance abuse. Their new podcast, This is the S Word, helps fight the stigma about seeking help. If you or someone you know is struggling, head to thesportsma.com for more information.
Gabby is a college student struggling to study for her big exam. Then she discovered Syntron, a healthy way for her to stay awake and focus. Jennifer frequently has chaotic days like this until she gets online, orders some Syntron, and finds her groove. April visited her local grocery store, purchased a case of Syntron, and entered to win the Syntron 100K Vegas giveaway. Pick up your case of Syntron today at any Meijer location or visit drinksyntron.com/Vegas and enter for the 100K Vegas giveaway.
We aren't quite sure if they consume more beer or sports. Either way, the heavyweights are here. Live on Woodward Sports, daily 5 to 7 p.m. The only sports network in Detroit that starts with a W. You know, because we win. Woodward Sports, Detroit's winning sports network.
Get a shot up. This is for the win.
All of Detroit's sports teams live on Woodward. All of Detroit's sports coverage lives on Woodward Sports. Driving the best in Detroit sports coverage.
Indulge in the finest selection of cannabis curated with care. With over 12 locations, now a new location in Whitmore Lake, Dispo is never too far away. Again, guys, visit disposhops.com today and unlock a world of endless possibilities in the realm of cannabis. Hell, we might have even been smoking cannabis to how late the stream started, but you don't know. Dispo, always dependable. You can go there. They got beautiful locations. They got one in Romeo, which we will be at soon enough, and it's gorgeous. You guys got to check it out. That is disposhops.com, your local cannabis plug. Welcome back to the Morning Woodward Show. We're off and running finally this morning. Appreciate you guys for being patient with us. Everything should be back to how it should be, as I expected. So happy about that. Plenty more to get to, Lions. And I want to get in some of these training camp notes. Because, again, Matt Broder does an amazing job with this. He goes to training camp, even for joint practices, gives us an entire note sheet, on Slack, sends it to us and goes, here you go, bud. Gives us the thing we were looking for. And it's a note page on everything involving training camp. And I want to get to some of the things in here that he talked about, notably just go through some things with Jameson Williams and kind of highlight what he did before he left early with that hamstring injury. Matt Broder writes in here, in offense work, J-Mo caught first ball thrown by Teddy Bridgewater. Teddy's out there. Nice to see that. But on the very next play, he had a bad drop on a crossing route. Don't let the haters see that because they'll run with that one. He says, also Matt Broder, when he is on the field, there is always a safety over the top, which I kind of alluded to earlier. Leaving other receivers much more space. Now, that's the impact Jameson Williams is going to have. That's why after 6 games, I'm excited for him. He's going to make others better even when he doesn't get the football. But we know he should get the football. Nice blocking on running plays. And instead, he says here, likely the hamstring injury was caused on a deep route. Hopefully he's okay. Again, he kind of highlighted some of the other players on offense, and I'll go through them quickly. Khalif Raymond making some plays as well. He said he caught about a 20 to 25-yard pass in that joint practice. David Montgomery making some catches as well out of the backfield, kind of being used in the passing game, which, again, people sleep on David Montgomery, dude. Like, he's a good pass catcher. Him and Jahmyr Gibbs, both those guys can be used offensively in that dimension. Benny Snell, Lucas's guy.
Benny Snell.
He talked a little bit about him.
Future practice squad member.
And again, the one that I love the most is Sam Laporta because he writes here, appears to be the clear number one. And we've known that, but he keeps noting that every time Broder does this. He says, made a nice catch at the 1-yard line with Devin Lloyd draped all over him. I love Devin Lloyd. He's an up-and-coming linebacker.
Oh, yeah.
And, again, he walks in as a rookie, cooks him at the 1-yard line. So, again, good news for Sam Laporta there after that preseason showing. He says later in drill had a one-handed catch in the back of the end zone after Devin Lloyd and Darius Williams got crossed up on Jamo's route. One-handed catch for Laporta.
Are you surprised?
I mean, Lucas, this guy, you just call him the GOAT or what? He's better than Kelsey? What's going on?
Not yet. No, I don't think he'll ever be. I think Kelsey is the GOAT. But again, I think he's going to be very similar to George Kittle. Like, if we're freaking out after that first drop that he had in the preseason game where it was like, it wasn't like a for sure catch, but it's definitely one that he should have caught. I mean, let's relax on this. The man's been making tons of plays in practice, even in joint practice against other teams. So if you're just going to judge him off that drop, then go for it. But the reality is this man's going to be a stud.
Yeah, and again, for Laporta, he writes in here some good things. He was making some plays. Antoine Green, Sam Flannel, he said sharper routes in 7-on-7s today. Again, this is a guy who was critiqued for the last couple practices, at least the last week. We've been hearing more about Antoine Green lining up at the wrong spots, getting chirped by coaches. Again, just a 7th-round rookie. That's what you expect.
Yeah.
A lot for him to learn. He says he looked better, seemed more confident in and out of breaks. Broder writes, had at least 2 touchdowns in goal line/red zone drills. Both great passes by Sudfeld. I repeat, both great passes by Sudfeld.
Oh, man, a miracle happens. I mean,
Sudfeld throwing great passes.
By what standards are we saying great to? Are we saying great for Nate Sudfeld?
This is breaking.
Yeah, breaking news from the Detroit Lions. Nate Sudfeld completed a pass.
I mean, to be fair, Nate Sudfeld threw a pass that hit Jameson Williams right in the hands in the preseason game, and he just, dropped it. So Nate Sudfeld is actually capable of throwing a nice pass every once in a while. But you know what? We're not going to harp on that too much. I was really, and Lucas, you're going to be happy about this. From what I've seen from these notes from Matt Broder, I am very, very happy with what I'm seeing, at least in these notes, for Sam Laporta, because we look at the preseason game, and I'm not harping on it, but all the other heralded rookies, I mean, everyone was just like, oh my God, Brian Branch, Jack Campbell just dominating on defense. Jahmyr Gibbs had an 18-yard catch and run, an impressive run up the middle. Everybody was just saying, they basically gave you a taste of what you think they're going to be. But then there's old Sam Laporta, who had 1 target and 1 drop. And not only that, his backup, James Mitchell, one of his backups, James Mitchell. Hey, hold on. He actually was one of the standouts of the game. I'm not saying that he's going to take Sam Laporta's spot, but I'm just saying he had a hell of a game, at least by preseason standards. So the fact that Sam Laporta is once again reasserting his dominance as the number 1 tight end, making a contested catch with Devin Lloyd draped all over him, that is all a very, very good sign. And the fact that he's able to bounce back from, I would say, a poor preseason showing. And another guy that you didn't talk about yet, who just happens to always show out, who has been an absolute standout, is Jahmyr Gibbs, because Jahmyr Gibbs, we saw what he could do in the preseason, but Matt Broder writes in his notes, explosive run to the outside in 7-on-7, outrunning all DBs, and had a special dig route at the goal line for an easy pass and catch touchdown. I mean, we all know about Jahmyr Gibbs' explosiveness and his speed. The fact that he's outrunning DBs is a great sign. And how many incoming rookie running backs, and this is fair, how many of them can run a dig route? I'm not saying that a dig route's the most complicated thing in the world, but a dig route where you run the route perfectly and precisely and then make a catch for a touchdown. Those are all very, very good signs, at least by Sam Laporta and Jahmyr Gibbs, of course. If I may, though.
Yep.
If I may. I'm not trying to be too long-winded. I know this is supposed to be positive hour, but I got to say, I'm a little concerned that Jameson Williams went down again. I know, the biggest Jameson Williams hater of all time right here, which is false, by the way, but is it fair to say that this is a man who has been lacking reps in his NFL career so far?
Sam, I don't think you're far off there.
Yes.
Every rep is an important rep for JMO. You would argue that out of any player, the player that needs these reps the most is Jameson Williams. And again, JB just sent me this tweet. This is tweeted by Tim Twentyman, and he reports, Campbell said the Lions could be looking into the wide receiver market to add a body there. Now, if we're trying to read between the lines here, that would indicate that there's concern, like we just talked about. As we talked about the depth of this wide receiver core and the guys that are unproven and, not a ton of depth there. Dan Campbell agrees. They're going to be shopping the wide receiver market. It's a good thing to say because after preseason, what happens, Sam Flannel?
He has to leave the team, basically.
Well, teams cut players. They cut a lot of players. Guys are going to be available.
Yes.
So Dan Campbell reports that. But for J-Mo, to your point, Sam, it's important every rep. I don't know what the hamstring means. I don't know if it was a tweak or, if he straight pulled it, that's a problem. But if it's a tweak, he could be out there Saturday. But I don't think you're far off. I wouldn't classify that as hating to say, hey, he needs all the reps he can get.
Sure, and that's all that I'm saying is that last year, what do we always say about last year? And especially for the people who support Jameson Williams.
Hold on, Vincent. Jeff
good,
Risden, apparently, and this is for Vincent in the chat. I don't know if this is true, but Vincent commented, Jeff Risden, no JMO this week and probably not in the preseason with a leg injury. Now, if that's a real report, which I have to confirm that, and please chime in the chat if it's confirmed. I don't have the time to confirm it. That's a problem.
Well, I saw Matt Broder on his personal Twitter also mention that he basically said, and this sounds a lot more ominous than it actually is, that might have been J-Mo's last practice till October.
Gosh.
But that's just what Matt Broder said. But to be fair, he has to be away from the team after training camp is over, and there's only, I think, about a week and a half left, so it's not the worst thing in the world, but I was hoping to see Jameson Williams in the second preseason game against Jacksonville. And obviously, and as I was saying before, the people who are the biggest supporters of Jameson Williams will acknowledge, they always say last year was a throwaway. He didn't have an off season. He didn't have a training camp. He didn't get a lot of reps during the season on the field in games and probably not enough in practice. So you're telling me that he's going to go through another offseason where he doesn't get enough reps, and obviously he's suspended for the first 6 games, and I forgot how many he has to be away from the team, I think until at least October. That could be a problem. I'm not saying it's the end-all, be-all. I'm just saying, can we all agree that that's one of the last people you'd hope to even get like a little hamstring injury?
Yeah.
Is that fair?
Well, typically a hamstring injury for any other player, you're like, okay, it's unfortunate.
Yeah.
But for Jameson, who needs these preseason games, it's detrimental. I mean, it's a big deal. I know people, and I want to read some of these comments too because people are chiming in. Let's see. Justin O says he can come back after week 3 to be with the team.
Okay, yeah.
That's positive. But again, you're missing 3 weeks of just chilling. I mean, he'll be training, but again, especially if he now has a lingering hamstring injury, we'll see how that goes. Let's see here. Luigi, y'all talking like J-Mo wanted to pull this hamstring. No.
Oh, my God.
No one's talking like he wanted to pull the hamstring. We're just analyzing what happened, which he pulled a hamstring. We got to talk about it. It is concerning. If you don't think the hamstring is concerning for Jameson Williams, I don't know what to tell you. Well, and I love J-Mo. Like, there's the Simps of J-Mo. There's Neil Rule.
Yes.
And I'm right under there. I love Jameson Williams. Even I can admit an injury to him is concerning, especially right now. You want him to get all the reps possible, at least a rapport. You'd like it to be with Jared, but just be out there catching passes in a preseason game. Well, the fact that he won't be able to do that, it's unfortunate.
Well, and that's the thing, and I want Lucas's input after this as well. But I see Don Beats in the chat, and I know I'm going to be hearing this definitely on Big D Energy and from a lot of people throughout the day. J-Mo will be fine. Relax. So is it not okay to have a little bit of a concern about his lack of reps? It sounds like a lot of you people just like cue up the Bob Marley. Don't worry about a thing. Every little thing is going to be all right.
Is
that your strategy?
Is that your strategy?
Is that your strategy?
We might get copyrighted. That was good.
I appreciate that. But, like, I mean, is that your guys' stragy?
Here's another update. Tim Twentyman tweeted out. Thanks, JB, for this. Dan Campbell said he expects to get Amon-Ra St. Brown back sometime next week. Good news. St. Brown hurt an ankle yesterday in practice, so St. Brown, no concern there. He wasn't going to play anyway. He also said Jameson Williams could miss the rest of the preseason after he injured a hamstring. So there's the confirmation. So, it's not great news, but, again, expectations for me don't change. You come back after 6 weeks, you produce.
Sure.
That's it.
And I think report just put out Jameson Williams likely out rest of preseason, so it's going to be the trending news for the day. So J-Mo's going to have a lot more publicity on him. So this is going to be great for Lions fans.
Now, I'll say this. Jameson Williams out 6 weeks. Yeah, it stinks. Doesn't change my expectations. You expect J-Mo to go out there and separate himself, be better than everybody else. Now, eventually, after 6 weeks, you'd be like, all right, you can consider it his rookie year, or however you want to consider it. If you want to use last year as a redshirt year, great. My expectations don't change, though. I expect J-Mo to come out there after 6 weeks, even if there's one game where he's getting his legs under him, but then he's off and rolling. I don't expect setbacks. I don't expect him to have to ease into the offense. You've had over a year to get used to this offense. He knows his role. He knows what's expected of him. Go out there and produce. Mm-hmm. If you go out there and produce and you put up numbers, everybody will shut up. That's how this works.
Including yours truly. I will shut up. I might even apologize, although I don't think anything I've said about Jamison Williams has necessarily been wrong. I might have been one of the harsher critics, I will say. But the bottom line is I'm just disappointed. I wasn't obviously rooting for him to go down. I'm not a monster or anything. I'm just somebody who understands that when you're a player who the Lions drafted an injured player, that's just that's just what it is, and there's nothing wrong with that necessarily, but that means that you might have a little bit of a redshirt rookie season. And I'm not saying I'd rather this have happened to somebody else, because I don't wish injury on anybody. No. But when I saw it was Jamison, I'm just kind of like, another I mean, we saw what he did in the last preseason game. I thought it was a little bit underwhelming, and I think that's fair. It wasn't perfect. It was a little bit uneven. I would have liked to have seen him have, I wouldn't say a dominant preseason game, because what does that even mean? But make a big play. Maybe when that perfect pass is thrown to you, catch it and run for a touchdown, to where we're all like, oh my God, this is the J-Mo that we saw at Alabama. This is the J-Mo we even saw when he caught that touchdown against Minnesota. To be fair, that did happen.
And for Kevin Kelty chiming in the chat, you can get involved. WoodwardSports.com, on our YouTube channel, Woodward Sports. He says, I like J-Mo, but it's time to put him on bust alert. He's missing practice. I don't hold time missed from injury against it, but he needs these reps. Lions aren't going to keep Ben Johnson after 23. See, that's where I differentiate from people who have that line of thinking. I wouldn't call him a bust, and I'll tell you why. He's got talent. Mm-hmm. I would understand if he came out there and he just completely looked lost and never was close to showing flashes. We've seen the talent. That's why, and maybe not in a big enough sample size, Sam, but we've seen the big play. We've seen what he means, what he does when he's on the field. He's not John Ross. No. He just doesn't. It's some dude who just has burner speed. It's not him at all. He has burner speed, but on top of that, you see the skill set. But essentially, this is a guy who was one and done after Alabama. I mean, that's how it works. He was there for 1 year, and we have big expectations for him, but I'm not going to call him a bust. You see the skill, but the availability, I understand, is the concern there. And that's why I say after 6 weeks, you move on. He's your franchise, another one of your franchise wide receivers. You expect him to produce, and if he does that, the questions will all quiet. There will be no J-Mo on bust alert. Just go out and produce. I remember it was ridiculous last year when Panay was playing right tackle and he was struggling and playing a position he's never played, and then people were calling him on bust alert. No, I'm not doing the bust alert thing until I've seen at least a full season, or even after this season when he's back for 11 games. If he just looks lost, he looks like he does not belong in this league, then we can have a conversation. But I don't think that's going to be the case. He's too skilled, Sam. It is what it is.
Well, and I even agree with that. Even though you guys think I'm a J-Mo hater, I'm not putting him on bust alert yet. It would take a very, very disappointing sophomore season in which he was, I would say, healthy for all 11 games. If he's not, then he might be labeled as injury prone, and that's a whole nother conversation that I'm not quite ready to have yet, because it would be unfair. But if he comes out, and I'm not calling for this, by the way, if he comes out and maybe has catches in the teens and under 350 receiving yards, then I might be like, okay, what did we do?
Right.
But even then, it might just be that Jared Goff likes to spread the ball around and he makes a few big plays in the flow of the offense. I still think his floor is that he helps this team offensively. I just don't know if he's ever going to be a superstar, but he has that ceiling for sure. I think his ceiling is something like last year's Jalen Waddle, and we all know how good and explosive he was. So if he can come back healthy and just ball out like he did his year at Alabama, then I will shut up. I will even apologize. I will probably even exercise my own J-Mo demons live on air. We shall see. We'll stay tuned. I hope to do that someday, for the record.
And I know J-Mo, when he gets back, is going to be terrorizing defenses, but I don't see a scenario in which he ever terrorizes Guardian Alarm. I just don't see it.
No.
I mean, that's an elite defense. You talk about an elite defense, I'll give you one. It's Guardian Alarm, customized solutions from real experts. They got 24/7 professional monitoring. They got technology backed by people. All you got to do is call 1-800-STAY-OUT. Call 1-800-STAY-OUT. Tell them your friends at Woodward Sports sent you.
Okay.
Fellas, let's be honest. We like things to be easy. We like simple stuff, like sports 7 days a week. We like things uncomplicated, like Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. Open 10 to 8, 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. Sign in, sit down, watch your favorite team play, and before you know it, your hair will be game ready. Open 10 to 8, 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. It's wicked awesome.
Introducing the Planet Fitness Guide to getting that post-workout glow. Step 1. What's your why? More epic energy? Better sleep? Blow off steam? Step 2. Join Planet Fitness for just $10 a month and get moving in our clean and spacious clubs. Step 3. Bask in that post-workout glow. Join Planet Fitness today for just $10 a month.
Join today at any of the 50-plus Detroit area locations.
Your home is your most important asset. Flexibility in the sales process is key. When you work with Mark White & Associates, you can cancel at any time, for any reason, without penalty. Speaking of flexibility, check this out. Who you work with matters. Hire the best broker in the game.
Surprise! I give you the gun show right out of break that you guys weren't expecting, but you know what? It's because I'm feeling a pump because I go to Planet Fitness, of course. Planet Fitness is home of the judgment-free zone where anyone, and we mean anyone, can feel comfortable and work on their fitness goals. We are here to help you build a lasting, active lifestyle. At Planet Fitness, you will experience a squeaky clean gym that has tons of equipment, a full-body workout in just 30 minutes in the 30-minute circuit, and all memberships include fitness training. You get all of this for only $10 a month. Yes, they are still only $10 a month. Your fitness is essential, and fitness is a key part of physical and mental wellness, which is why we've invited teens between the ages of 14 and 19 to work out free all summer long with our high school Summer Pass program. It ends pretty soon, so if you want to get a part of that, get on it now, and you have a couple of weeks, and that, to me, is a perfect amount of time to at least start your fitness journey. For more information or to join today, visit your local Planet Fitness or planetfitness.com. No matter where you are, there's a Planet Fitness close by. There are more than 50 in Metro Detroit and thousands more throughout the world. It's Planet Fitness.
Talk to me.
Where your fitness is essential.
Oh, jeez. We're back.
You can put them down now, Flannel.
Those things are registered weapons, guys. I don't think you understand. We're back. It's the Morning Woodward Show here on the Woodward Sports Network. We're at 5 Iron Golf at the Cambria Hotel. Please come check this place out, man. It's beautiful. I mean, we can't show you, like, behind the cameras, but it's amazing. It really is. We were here last Thursday. They spoiled us down here. They got food, alcohol, anything you need. You bring the boys. Maybe you bring your girl. She golfs too. You bring anybody you like, and you come down here to 5 Iron Golf. You get it done, man. It's amazing in this place. It really is. It's my second time here, and I'll definitely be back as time goes on. Now, I stink, but I'll be back. Lucas, you stink too, but we'll be back, right?
We'll be back.
See,
we'll be getting some reps in after this. Maybe we can
no
get
doubt.
some going at 9:40.
That's what we're doing at 9:40, correct?
Yeah. We'll flip me and JB's camera to the right of us. Right here is a big simulator.
Oh, jeez, man.
You can watch just how good of golfers me and
Yeah,
Jeff are.
it's going to get ugly. It really is. But you know what else is going to get ugly? Trying to block for these guys on this defensive line, because Matt Broder talked about it too. And I'm going to get to some of the defensive notes, and I'll get to Brian Branch. Don't worry, because he's making plays to no one's surprise. It's Thursday. The sky's blue. That's where we're at with Brian Branch currently. And I'll read some of the things Broder wrote. He says, Jack Campbell looked really good in run defense today. He did say he did have one play, though, where he over-pursued the running back, Hasty, who's actually pretty good, in the wrong gap, and he got sucked inside, which is something that, we kind of saw to Aiden last year. Guys with that high of,
for sure.
Guys with that high of motor. Even Malcolm Rodriguez to some extent, but he looks way better. But over-pursuing, it's like doing everything to get to the football or thinking you're getting to the football and kind of getting lost and not staying disciplined in your own gap and opening up big plays. But Jack Campbell, again, rookie mistake. He did say looked more comfortable covering running backs out of the backfield. 6'5", man.
And especially
6'5", 200-plus pounds are covering running backs, Lucas.
And it's against Travis Etienne, Tank Bigsby, and I can't remember their third-string guy. I don't know if they still have JaMychal Hasty or not, but all the Jacksonville running backs are athletic guys. It's not like they're just stone power backs out there. So it's going to be impressive if Jack Campbell can hold his own all week.
It really is. I mean, he writes here, too, didn't see him on Ingram once, but the 2 plays I saw him covering a tight end, his coverage was very tight. That's great news for Jack Campbell there. But like we kind of talked about already, Lucas, you see them putting a C.J. Gardner-Johnson or a Brian Branch, whoever, on these tight ends. I think it'll just be better, but Jack could cover him.
No, because they have the luxury of doing that now. Like,
right.
If they were to play, like, when Kyle Rudolph was in Minnesota, if they play that style of tight end, the Pratt Freiermuths of the world, then Jack Campbell's most likely going to be on those guys. But in the NFL now, tight ends are getting more athletic. So, yeah, that's exactly why you draft a Brian Branch, exactly why you sign a C.J. Gardner-Johnson, because you have the corners on the outside that can handle the receivers. Now you can either send Jack Campbell in on a blitz or you can have him in zone coverage. You can do whatever you want. But the fact of the matter is they have a luxury of what they can do in guarding those kind of dynamic players now.
Super Saiyan Lion says, why does Lucas look translucent?
That would be because I cannot get a tan to save my life. I could lay in a tanning booth for 3 hours. I'd get red as hell and go right back to this white. So
hey,
it's how we roll, baby. No shame in it.
Happens to the best of us. It happens to the best of us. Let's see here. And he also writes, Josh Pascal, which you guys know I got to get to Josh Pascal.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, I'm excited for Josh Pascal. It's one of my guys, man. He says, Broder writes, took residence in the backfield once again. He's paying a mortgage in the backfield. That's where we're at with Josh Pascal. He said looked good from defensive tackle and edge. Again, a guy that's versatile. You can move him around. He could create pressure. He can generate a pass rush, but also he's stout against the run. I love Josh Pascal. I think people, when you talk about this defensive line, he's going to be a big piece of this for the future. Another piece of this defensive line, Broderick Martin, a guy who's been kind of flirting with playing with the starters and getting reps against better competition. Broder writes, quieter day from him. However, I did notice him getting a good push on most of the snaps when he was on the field. Again, Broderick's, he's coming along. You don't expect him to be a big input, a big part of this defensive line right away, but hopefully that development continues. Now, Jerry Jacobs, he writes, looks really good in man-to-man coverage, but a big miscommunication with Kirby Joseph led to a 75-yard TD pass from T-Law to Ridley. And that's something that CJ talked about in his press conference. He said, we gave up a couple deep balls in a 2-hour practice. He's like, I'll take that. That's all they really gave up, which that's miscommunication. That's chemistry with the secondary over time. But regardless, you can't get too down about that. But again, Emmanuel Mosley being out, that's the other part of this. When does he return? Because you expect him to hopefully be there by the start of the regular season because they need him. They do. They write here, Anzalone, best practice of camp so far. Romeo Okwara had a big day. He said made a few plays, sacks, tackles, pass breakups. Romeo Okwara, man. And he writes here, my favorite play of the day was when Romeo Okwara, sacked T-Law, chasing him down from the edge after he was forced to scramble due to a pressure from Aleem and Bugs.
Ooh.
Big bug.
Pressure from the middle, guys. This is the key ingredient to this defensive line. If a Bugs and Aleem can generate pressure, even a Josh Pascal from that defensive tackle position, it unlocks something dangerous with this defensive line, Sam Flannel.
Oh, it 100% does. And when I'm looking at the notes, it seems as though just from these notes that the defense really had a day today.
Yes.
Maybe the offense, I mean, you saw some players being highlighted on offense. And, of course, Amon-Ra St. Brown and Jamison Williams not participating in a full practice had something to do with it. But it seems like it was more of a defense-dominated day. You mentioned Broderick Martin. You mentioned Josh Pascal. Like, that is absolutely great to see, or at least to read these notes and be like, they are really progressing, particularly Josh Pascal. It seems like from these notes that he was actually pretty dominant at times. The thing that stood out to me when I was reading these notes, I'm going to start with this. Matt Broder wrote one note about one Jaguars player, and that was Calvin Ridley. He just says Calvin Ridley is a really freaking good at wide receiver. And that is fair. And I know that Lucas is expecting a very, very big year from Calvin Ridley, as am I, by the way.
Yeah, absolutely.
But then you go a little bit up the notes and you run into Cam Sutton. And what did it say about Cam Sutton? Was on Ridley a lot today. Listen to this, guys. I don't believe Ridley had a catch when Sutton was the primary defender.
It's not what you'd be expecting.
Are we ready to call it Sutton Island at this point? Come on. Come on.
I've always thought Cam Sutton was underrated.
Yeah.
Played in Pittsburgh, and again, for at least Cam, hasn't really gotten the credit. He's never talked about in the top 10 corner conversation. I just saw a list. They had Stephen Gilmore at 10. So, again, he doesn't get the respect he deserves, but Cam Sutton is going to be one of the most invaluable parts of this defense because unlike last year, you didn't have a true number one corner. I mean, who are you throwing on in your division? Justin Jefferson? Jeff Okudah?
No, it's probably going to be Cam Sutton.
Well, no, I said
right,
last
obviously.
year.
Yeah, Jeff obviously.
Okudah.
Yeah.
Now this year, you got options. You got a Cam Sutton. You got a Emmanuel Mosley. Hell, if you need, you got a Brian Branch, a C.J. Gardner-Johnson. You got different guys that can fill different roles. So Cam Sutton, man, he's that dude. And if you can make plays against Calvin Ridley, who I love, and he's going to come back and get another 1,400 yards, the guy's a beast, then yeah, you're a pretty damn good corner.
Absolutely. I mean, Cam Sutton was one that stood out when I looked at the notes. They say he did get beat by Zay Jones for a big gain who snuck between him and CJ on an out and up. That's all. I mean, but here's the thing. But he came back the very next play with lockdown coverage on Zay Jones. You know, when you're a DB, you've got to have amnesia. You're going to give up a play every once in a while. Even prime Darrelle Revis and prime Deion Sanders gave plays up every once in a while, but you can't let it affect you. And I'm not saying that Cam Sutton's going to be those guys, but what I am saying is that I am personally guaranteeing that Cam Sutton has the best year of his life this year. The Flannel Sam guarantee that Cam Sutton has a big year. And before we
Flannel Sam guarantee, baby.
Absolutely, and that is worth its weight in gold, if you ask me personally. And to kind of parlay that with Cam Sutton, you look at this offseason. What really changed everything in terms of their expectations, I believe, was the Cam Sutton signing and the C.J. Gardner-Johnson signing. And once again, Matt Broder writes, exceptional day again. Opponents better beware of the flats when he's on the field playing nickel. He had a massive hit on running back Olesen on a pass out of the backfield, blew him up, forced a fumble, and I believe the hit broke his helmet. He was trying to track down the equipment crew for a few minutes after the hit.
Thing is, before you keep going, Flannel, CJ actually went in our comments under this and corrected it. It was actually Jamal Agnew that he hit.
It was Jamal Agnew.
So it wasn't a fifth-string running back. That was former Detroit Lion Jamal Agnew. So that's even a little bit more excited to get about, because we saw last week where CJ was chopping at Ermanni, and now he's getting Jamal back. So I think CJ's trying to make a presence known that this is not, even to the players that were here before, letting them know this is not the same Detroit Lions team. They're built completely different. So who is that? Is that Booner?
Yo,
is that Booner?
Hey. Look at Boondog making an appearance, dude.
What up, baby? Football.
I love that, man. Shout out to Booner, man, making an appearance.
My guy.
And I want to answer this one, Taryn. Taryn says, hey, Jeff, who do you think, or do you think this defense has a chance to be top 10 this year?
Ooh.
The chance is definitely there.
What a turnaround, though, from the worst defense arguably in the league last year to be top 10. I don't know. I think top 10, everything would have to go right, but I don't think it's crazy. I think top 15's a more, I guess, viable expectation. I would say top 15 you should expect. I think the secondary is much improved. This defensive line has enough. The linebacker core is much deeper. You got reliable corners. I would say a top 15 unit. I would say. Now, top 10, you know, that's a stretch. I mean, you could probably go through all top 10 of those defenses. A lot of it has to do with the coordinator as well, and I think Aaron Glenn is great right now. So he's hitting a nice stride. So I'd say top 15 is more viable.
And you know what's funny though, Jeff? When I find myself working backwards and really dissecting everything that I've said about this Detroit Lions defense, I think Aiden Hutchinson will have 15 sacks. I just said a few minutes ago that Cam Sutton is going to have the best year of his life. I think C.J. Gardner-Johnson, at least as a complete football player, might have the best year of his life, although I'm not calling for 6 interceptions. And I've also really, really waxed poetic about Brian Branch, how I think if he starts from week 1, if he gets the usage, he might get some votes for Defensive Rookie of the Year. I know it's really, really hard for like a corner safety hybrid to do it, but I think he could get some votes. If all those things that I predict come true, along with a breakout season for Aleem McNeil, and something similar to what John Kaminsky did last year, this year, maybe even a little bit better, that's a top 10 defense. Any way you slice it, that right there is a top 10 defense. I understand that it's like a 5-leg parlay of things going right, or maybe a 6-leg parlay, but does anything that I'm saying sound insane, like I'm losing my mind? I think those all could happen.
No. You know what? We'll go to break. When we get back, I want to talk more about Brian Branch and C.J. Gardner-Johnson, because I think those two guys are extremely important to the secondary, and I'll tell you why when we come back from break. But before we do that, you got to tell us about our friends over at Big Boy.
Oh, yes, I get the Big Boy read today because I am a very, very lucky guy. Strawberry Fest is back at Big Boy. Try classic breakfast items like some strawberry hotcakes or mouth-watering red velvet waffle. If you're not feeling breakfast, try the strawberry bacon chicken wrap or cool off with their refreshing summer splash salad. And don't forget to grab dessert, including the berry delicious classic strawberry pie, deep fried vanilla Oreos, or strawberry hot fudge cake, and more at Big Boy.
Fellas, let's be honest. We like things to be easy. We like simple stuff, like sports 7 days a week. We like things uncomplicated, like Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. Open 10 to 8, 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. Sign in, sit down, watch your favorite team play, and before you know it, your hair will be game ready. Open 10 to 8, 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. It's wicked awesome.
How would you like to win a $100K Vegas getaway? Well, I'll tell you how to do it. Take your closest friends and live it up in the city that never sleeps. It's the Cintron Energy. Drink it and live it. Purchase a 24-pack today and you're entered to win. Cintron, the healthier energy drink with a great taste and the choice of people who desire to look good, feel good, and be the best versions of themselves. Don't forget, drinkcintron.com/Vegas. We're back. It's the Morning Woodward Show here on the Woodward Sports Network out at 5 Iron Golf inside the Cambria Hotel out in Detroit. And again, guys, just have to say we'll be here all day. All shows will be down here. A lot of things planned for today. Shout out to Brady for locking this down for us. We're going to have a great time. And at 9:40, in a little bit, Sam Flannel, me and you are going to be squaring off over there on the practice field.
Oh, man. I am more nervous about that than I am to do the show every day.
Yeah.
Like I am, but you know what? I have never been afraid about looking like a little bit of a dork on camera, but and that might be the worst of all because I don't think I've swung a golf club. Oh my God, swung a golf club in years. In years, it's gonna look really, really bad.
Now I want to get into Brian Branch and C.J. Gardner-Johnson because C.J. Gardner-Johnson, the energy he brings. Put the player aside for a second because you know how great of a player he is. The energy he brings, the attitude he brings. Sam Flannel, I could talk about the fit because it seemed like the secondary was missing a guy like C.J. Gardner-Johnson, the guy who could set the tone, get the energy high. I mean, Kirby Joseph's energetic and he brings energy, but C.J.'s done it in this league, and he walks into this team and he changes the entire attitude of the secondary. And then on top of that, he's one of the better safeties in the NFL. So the impact C.J. Gardner-Johnson is going to have, I don't think people are really comprehending because here, Matt Broder writes, exceptional day, exceptional day. He says opponents better beware of the flats when he's out in the field playing nickel. He writes he had a massive hit on a running back out on a pass out the backfield, blew him up, forced a fumble, and I believe he broke his helmet. Broke his helmet.
Oh my goodness.
This guy broke his helmet on a hit. He was trying to track down the equipment crew for a few minutes after the hit. And then, of course, for Brian Branch, he said had a sack on T-Law on a play when the Lions had Anzalone, Campbell, and Rodriguez on the field. Again, they had Anzalone, Campbell, Rodriguez. They had linebackers, and here comes a hybrid safety corner linebacker to go sack Trevor Lawrence.
That's one of the most slept-on parts about Brian Branch, and one of the things that I can't wait, especially in the red zone this year. Brian Branch is going to be getting blitzed a lot, and what did we talk about him coming out of the draft? One of the most safe tacklers that you could ever imagine. So when we talk about Hutch getting in there, James Houston, all the guys that you just brought up about the defensive line, now it in Brian Branch in situational plays where he's going to be more athletic than the quarterback pretty much every time.
Yes.
So he's going to be tracked down whoever, and when he does, he's going to finish the play. And if he can't, then the ball's probably going to get thrown away, and if you're going to throw it, well, okay, you got C.J. Gardner-Johnson and Kirby Joseph in the back end on the red zone as well.
Do you have the clip? Actually, you do. Could you play it? Brad Holmes talking about Brian Branch on the Peter Schrager
We can. If
broadcast?
There's some weird, easy audio that's going on in the background, we apologize. We think we fixed it, but here we go.
He's been very good. I will say that. The thing about it is that because we had C.J. Gardner-Johnson slated to kind of be the nickel, and we knew that Branch was going to be best as a nickel, and he can play safety as well. But we're just like, look, if he finds a role, he finds a role. If he doesn't, then we know he'll be a dang good special teams player. But, it was pretty evident as soon as he got out there that he meant business, and he's making waves, man.
Branch is going to be one of the biggest steals of the 2023 NFL draft. I'll say it right now. Like, for a guy who's regarded as the best safety in the class, a first-round pick, almost guaranteed, a guy that Brad Holmes had in one of his 14 players' first-round grades. Brian Branch was one of them. You got him in the second round, and not only that, you stole him from the Packers, and you stole him from other teams that needed a guy like Brian Branch. He will be, if not the biggest, one of the biggest steals in this draft. I believe that.
Oh, I think he might. I think there's a chance, unless somebody really, really in the later rounds pops off, which is possible because somebody always does. Brian Branch might be looked at as one of the biggest steals in this draft, and certainly one of the biggest steals in Lions history. I understand we've seen Kirby Joseph and Malcolm Rodriguez and James Houston and Amon-Ra St. Brown, but given where he could have gone based on his talent, where he actually went, it's mind-boggling. The Lions, I know that they were at the time, should have been popping bottles, and you know what? And Brian Branch, all he has done ever since he has stepped onto this field, both in preseason and from what I've been seeing out of training camp, is validate every single thing that I've thought that he's going to be, that Brad Holmes, Dan Campbell have thought he's going to be, Aaron Glenn, anybody. He has done that, and then some. You even look at Broder's notes. I mean, he had a sack on Trevor Lawrence, and as I've always said, at Alabama, he had 3 sacks his last year. And for a safety, for like a defensive back, like a safety corner hybrid, that is pretty damn good. And you didn't even mention, Jeff, the pass breakup on Evan Ingram. If Brian Branch can cover Evan Ingram, who is one of, I would say, the more physically skilled tight ends. I mean, he's up there. If he can guard him one-on-one and consistently shut guys like him down, that would be absolutely huge. I mean, you saw it at Alabama. His ability to rush the passer, make plays in the backfield, 14 tackles for loss, pass breakups, and coverage. He is going to do that. You saw it in the preseason, that play against Cole Beasley. You saw him being all over the field. It's stuff they did at Alabama. It's stuff that he's done in training camp. It's stuff he's done on the preseason games, and it's stuff that he's going to be doing in regular season games all the way up until his first All-Pro and beyond. I am completely all in and drinking all of the Kool-Aid. I wish I had some when it comes to Brian Branch. The dude is special.
Well, I'll tell you this, and I don't even want to say it's drinking Kool-Aid, because if you love football, you love Brian Branch.
Yep.
Look at what he improves immediately day one from the Lions. Last year, I'll give you 2 things that the Lions struggled with: pass coverage.
Yep.
And tackling. Brian Branch, elite tackler. He's great in pass coverage. Oh, yeah, and sprinkle in a little bit, he can get after the quarterback.
Oh, yeah.
Like, he is the complete package as a DB, and the Lions needed a dude like that. They just did, and I think Brian Branch, I know people were, at least early on in the training camp, at least period, hey, is Brian Branch going to play this year? Oh, yeah. He's going to play a lot this year. They're going to use him in so many different ways, and he immediately improves this Lions secondary on all fronts. And there's good reason to be excited about Brian Branch. I'll tell you what, we'll go to break. When we get back, we'll get into me and Sam Flannel attempting to do this. Oh, gosh.
Can we skip it?
But before we do that, I got to hear about our friends from Randy Wise, which I'll tell you about. Yes. Because, guys, how would you like to see famous athletes like Jim Harbaugh, Darren McCarty, or Braylon Edwards play golf with average Joes? Well, thanks to Randy Wise Automotive and Woodward Sports, you will be able to do just that. It's the Randy Wise Celebrity Golf Tour. Make the wise choice and pay attention to Woodward Sports for more information soon.
Introducing the Planet Fitness Guide to getting that post-workout glow. Step 1. What's your why? More epic energy? Better sleep? Blow off steam? Step 2. Join Planet Fitness for just $10 a month and get moving in our clean and spacious clubs. Step 3. Bask in that post-workout glow. Join Planet Fitness today for just $10 a month.
Join today at any of the 50-plus Detroit area locations.
At work and at home. We're there with smarter security solutions, featuring complete automation with customized alerts and more. For over 90 years, we've been the company that's been counted on to protect what matters most, all with personalized service and care. Right now, for a limited time, receive a free video device plus free installation with a new home system. Guardian Alarm. We protect Michigan.
Big Boy Strawberry Fest has officially arrived, and we're here to show you the very best flavors of the season. Satisfy your sweet tooth with our deep-fried vanilla Oreos, strawberry hot fudge cake, and a slice of our classic strawberry pie. But that's not all. Cool off on a refreshing summer splash salad, or savor the flavors of our chicken Caesar wrap and strawberry bacon chicken wrap. And for breakfast lovers, don't miss out on our strawberry hotcakes or our mouth-watering red velvet waffle. Strawberry Fest is something for everyone. Celebrate the sweet season with us at Big Boy.
Since the dawn of moving people, Chevrolet has led the way. The world of transportation is changing. At Feldman Chevrolet, we are leading the charge forward. With every electric vehicle, every mile traveled, one Feldman at a time. The company that puts more Chevys on Michigan roads is now the #1 name for Chevy electric vehicles.
We don't like to brag that we are the toughest sports network in Detroit, but we do have a guy named Darren McCarty on our side.
Lemieux and McCarty, who've had a good knockdown drag up. There they go, right on the whistle. They were talking to one another.
Woodward Sports.
Alrighty, people, I am doing the read for you guys. Jeff and Flannel are getting set up over there, but we are coming and sponsored to you by the Academy of Warren. The Academy of Warren has a brand new state-of-the-art stone field house that has a regulation basketball court, volleyball, and soccer field, which can also be used for 7-on-7 football. So if you want to go get your routes in, go ahead and do that. They have a new K-8 AM class, a small classroom sizing, learning street, futuristic media center, free breakfast and lunch, academic games, and K-8 athletics. Don't forget, Ermanni and Edward will be broadcasting from their carnival on August 24th, so you can come meet and explore the staff. Make sure you go visit the Academy of Warren. But now it is time. Jeff, Flannel. Looks like Flannel's ready. Are you ready, Flannel? Flannel's up, baby. Let's see what you got, Flannel. He's primed. Looking like a young Tiger Woods out there with the flannel on. Teeing up. Whiff. 0 for 1, Flannel. All right, it's okay. Keep your head on. It's all right. It's all right. Win some, you lose some. Oh, 0 for 2. It's all right. Hey.
Strike 2.
It's all right. It's all right.
Strike 3.
There it is. Oh, did it travel? I don't think. Oh, there it goes. Let's see. Flannel's distance. It's loading right now. Let's see. 55 yards. All right, Jeff. I would say there's a low floor here. There's a low floor if you somehow blow this. I don't know. Maybe Flannel's the lead on the show. You came, you saw, you conquered. Just remember. Come on, Hollywood. Khakis a little too tight. Polos, pretty good fit. Let's see if the khakis have any impact on the swing. Getting focused. Maybe he's not focused. Locked in. Oh, he's got to take a step back. Oh, that step back didn't matter now. Here we go to Jeff's shit. Oh! Foul ball! Nope. Line it back up, baby. Right now, Flannel's technically beating you. You got to get one that's going on the fairway. You got to keep it in. Jeff lines up again. Failed the first time. Khakis are still extremely tight. And yeah. 0 for 2. No, there's no tracking going on right here. Nope. You're hitting it. The chat's not going to allow this. Hollywood. Lined it up. What was wrong the first 2 times, Jeff? Everything was wrong, he said. including you. There it is. That might still be a foul. Let's see, but that was solid contact now. Oh, yeah, we got some travel time here. 60. Wait, is it 90 or 68? Yeah, he got 90. All right. Flannel, you want to take the headset? I'll give it a swing now. You can narrate. You're going to have narrator Flannel now.
Lucas Klotz approaches the tee. I think he's got a pretty good form right now. I don't know. Oh, swing and a miss. Oh my God, I don't feel so bad anymore. This is the greatest day of my life. Lucas Klotz makes the swing. Oh, and it goes a little wide right, just a little bit outside. That's not the worst. Let me see. 73 yards. Let's go.
It's JB's turn.
Hey.
JB's getting on the tee box now. We are about to witness JB Smooth. JB Smooth up to the green. Let's show us what you got, JB. Look how elegant he looks. JB, you have any golfing experience prior to this? 0 golfing experience, JB says. JB, I think whatever you do, it's going to just be phenomenal. I have faith in you, JB. He goes, oh, boy. Here it goes. Oh, hey. He was the first one to hit it on the first try. JB, you're on a good pace right now. You got one more. It's got to go some distance. Winds up, attempt number 2. Fresh to death as always. JB, how did you get to look so good like that? You said he just woke up like this. He took it off the tee. He said, fuck the tee. I don't need the tee. JB Smooth. Oh, it's all right. Hey. Line it up. Send this one home. You are Happy Gilmore. Send us home. Oh! Hey, we got some distance now, I think. We did. You might give Flannel a run for his money. It went somewhere. 39! JB! All right. Okay, not too bad. JB finished. So what we went? Flannel was you got 51. So it goes JB, Flannel, Lucas, Jeff. So Jeff he'll keep that big ego that he has. But we'll be back we got to get everything set back up. So we'll go to a commercial break. We'll get everything right for you guys, and we'll come back with some mailbag. Until then, make sure you go and visit 5 Iron Golf because we're having a good time. So make sure you come see us. We shall be right back. If this will work. Here we go. Now we'll be right back.
Hey, this is Mr. Kearney, Chief Academic Officer at Academy of Warren. I want to welcome you to the brand new field house. The state-of-the-art facility has a regulation basketball court, volleyball court, soccer field. It can be used for 7-on-7 football. Our K-8 academic features AM, PM, latchkey, small classroom sizes, Learning Street, futuristic media center, free breakfast and lunch, Houghton Mifflin curriculum, academic games, K-8 athletics, and more. Enroll today at academywarren.net.
Fellas, let's be honest. We like things to be easy. We like simple stuff, like sports 7 days a week. We like things uncomplicated, like Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. Open 10 to 8, 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. Sign in, sit down, watch your favorite team play. And before you know it, your hair will be game ready. Open 10 to 8, 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. It's wicked awesome.
Well, we're back, but we got to hear about our friends from Swiss Insurance really quickly.
Okay,
Sam Flannel, can you tell us about them?
Absolutely, and now that summer's... Oh, actually, I should probably do this one. Planning on sponsoring a golf outing this year, which I will certainly not be at because you saw my swing. Ask Swiss Insurance about hole-in-one, putting contests, and $1 million shootout coverage. For a very affordable amount, you could give away a huge prize like $10,000 or a new car. Help build your business with big ideas. Check out Swiss today, SwissINS.com, or call Mark at 248-800-4177. Again, that is 248-800-4177, Swiss Insurance.
We're back here. It's the Morning Woodward Show here on the Woodward Sports Network. I'm going to say this right now. I'm sorry you had to witness that.
It needed to be known. We're at a golf outing right now. Not a golf outing, but a golf simulator.
And I'm seeing some people chime in. I want to get to some of these comments we didn't get to. Jack says Jeff should be punished for coming in last. Did I come in last?
No, you were
Jeff,
first.
Unfortunately, we're going to have to hear about how you came in first.
Not that I was okay. I'm the best out of all of us. We all stink, so it is what it is. Eric Burrow, y'all should hit the driving range first. Damn, this is rough to watch.
Yeah,
we look like Nate Sudfeld out there combined.
Hoof-Hearted says Jeff had the best looking swing at least. I don't even know what that. My swing is cheeks. So the fact that Hoof-Hearted thinks I had the best looking swing, what does that mean for you guys?
It means bad things. It means that my swing is probably the worst that a lot of these people in the chat have ever seen. I'm sure a 5-year-old could do better.
Elgato says swings like a 90-year-old lady. I think that was about JB. Let's say Jack says Lucas simping for JB. Jay Cruz.
How could you not? Look at this man.
Saying.
Like Coach Walks, he looks like my security guard right now. This is my personal protector.
Steve Wild says Jeff is weak. Let's be real. Appreciate you, Steve. Aaron, and we'll get to some questions now. Again, feel free, ask your questions. We'll try to get to as many as we can. Chuck says, I thought I was bad at golf, but I'd smoke all of you. Chuck, you definitely would.
Yep.
There you go.
That is just, it is what it is. Those are the facts. Chuck would smoke us. Aaron asks, we'll start with this one. Who's your caddy? Mailbag, you guys should try pickleball. I got another 35 years roughly till I try pickleball.
Aw.
On a very real note, we would fuck up some pickleball, man.
Would we?
The quick feet, I got the range. You're going to put some 65-year-old in front of my face? It's easy work. I'm running the pickleball board every.
That's a mismatch.
I'm throwing 100 on it every time, coming home with $1,000.
Yeah,
Easy
that's
money.
You know what? Maybe you do have a point. Let's see. Aaron Stoner asks, Mailbag, any of you guys concerned at all that J-Mo is now going to miss the rest of the preseason? According to Adam Scheffner, dude can't seem to stay on the field. It's getting real frustrating. Yeah, we talked about that a little earlier, Aaron. And yes, I would say it is concerning. But again, I'm not going to say he's a bust. I would just say, hey man, expectations don't change. Show up when you get back. Show up, and all these questions will go away. It's that easy. You play well. We stop talking. Even though I'm a huge J-Mo simp, but for people that are critical, maybe sometimes too critical of J-Mo, you have to show up. It is what it is. That's part of being a first-round draft pick. Let's see. Peter says, will you guys gobble glizzies at the turn during the golf tournament later? Yeah, we have a golf outing tomorrow. Links of Novi will be out there for D-Max golf outing event. Maybe Lucas can gobble some glizzies on camera. No bun, no hands. That's something
you just signing me up for this now? What is this?
I mean, hey, you proposed.
No buns, no hands? What does that even mean?
What
hot dogs are you eating, Jeff?
Hey, I'm not trying to start any. I'm just saying, Lucas was talking to me about this before the show.
This is not true. Me and JB were trying to get this setup working. That's what me and you're just making up false narratives now. Jeff's the one that eats hot dogs with no buns or no hands, apparently.
I'm just saying.
I've never even heard of that, Jeff.
I'm not confirming it's true or not. I'm just hearing rumors. That's something Lucas is open to trying. I don't know. We'll see tomorrow. Let's see. Aaron Tackett says you guys are going to be there again next week. Brady, is there going to be a golf league resuming next week, right? Thursday. So Thursdays we'll be down here for the golf league. If you guys are interested, it's already packed though. You cannot sign up right now, but the sign-up's already done. But we're going to be competing against people here, 4 personalities a week. I already went last week. It was disgusting. I'm like the guy on like Call of Duty, the scoreboards, even though I'm better at Call of Duty. But if you want to compare it to golf, I'm bottom of the leaderboard. Like it is what it is. You got to carry me in golf. It is what it is. I could putt though. That's all I got. That's all I got. Matt says there will be no buns involved. Lions Troll says mail satchel. How many glizzies can Spenny put down realistically? The man could probably put down about 15 glizzies.
Yeah, 15.
I think Spenny's good for about 15. Now, if he wants to have buns on him or not, that's up to him. I don't know his preferences. I don't know. 40 Gumble says Jeff playing support class in COD confirmed. Yeah, you're probably right there, 40. Let's see here. Jack says, will there be a KC versus Lions event for Woodward in Kansas City? There will not be. Some of us may be going down to that game. I know Lucas has been chirping about it. He wants to go.
Been trying.
He's trying to go.
Everyone here, I'm the stoked one. Everybody else is scared about making a trip down to Arrowhead, apparently. Everybody's like, no, it's a drive. How many other times are the Lions going to open the city or the season against Patrick Mahomes, and with all the implications on the line,
true.
you guys like, yeah, no, I'm good.
Losers. Randy says Mailbag will Goff play this week. I don't know. He is not going to play this week. It says, and he went on 97.1, talked about this. Jeremy Reisman tweeted this out. Dan Campbell doesn't plan on playing starters on Saturday versus the Jaguars. Some rookies may sit too. I would expect a guy. I mean, Sam Laporta, I don't think he's really earned the right to just sit. I don't know. Maybe that's just me. Like, I think he needs more reps out there, but maybe he looks so good in training camp, they're not really concerned. But I'm curious which rookies are sitting.
Yeah, I mean, make a catch in a preseason game, and then you can sit. Is that fair?
I mean,
make one catch in a preseason game. Is that,
well, I would say no. Honestly, I don't think you're far off. I think if Laporta came out and showed and produced and put up let's say 3-4 catches for 50 yards, whatever it is, you're like, okay. But he dropped a ball in that first preseason game. I'd like to see him out there more. That's not being negative. That's just I think he needs the reps. It'd be good for Sam Laporta. But we'll see. Aaron Tackett says, I'll see you guys down there next week. All right, Aaron, we'll see you down there. Can't wait.
Right.
Lion Stroll says, good job taking the heat from us today. On a serious note, yeah, again, guys, there's no excuse for that. I mean, you guys feel free to roast the hell out of us. I'm a big accountability guy. I think that's how it should be. If you don't at least give the audience what they ask for, you deserve to be roasted. So, yeah, we were late. Therefore, roast away. There's nothing we're going to say back to that. So I think it's very fair. Randy says, what's the point of this game if no starters and a few rookies? Well, that's a great question. What's the point of really any preseason game? I don't know, to be honest with you. I think the true preseason games, Randy, come in these joint practices. That's the real test because everybody's playing in these joint practices. Nobody really values preseason anymore. It is what it is.
I will say this, though. Ask a guy like Maurice Alexander. Yep. Someone like that, I think, could earn a roster spot, which I think he will by returning a punt 95 yards for a touchdown in a preseason game. Those are the guys who it's really, really important for, in my humble opinion.
Yeah, no doubt. Who-farted? Preseason games are job interviews for jobs worth millions of dollars. Yeah, that's true. Noah M., the true preseason games is the friends we've made along the way. yeah, that's more like it. Jesse Adams, mailbag, what's worse, WSN technical problems or Flannel's takes?
Oh.
Flannel, you can answer this one. What do you think?
I think both are just fine because I'm never gonna throw Lucas and JB under the bus, and I think that my takes are fantastic. My mom thinks they're great too, by the way, just so you know. And my wife.
Jesus, Flannel.
Mom. Oh, wow. Hey, that's all you need. All right. 40 Gumble. Dylan Drummond has a big opportunity now. Dylan Drummond, man. Like, I know, and Broder kind of wrote about it. He was making plays again in that joint practice. Yeah. I think Dylan Drummond, it's crazy to think about. I brought him up, 2 weeks ago? Or was this last week when we were at Feldman, and people were like, why are you talking about Dylan Drummond? This is why. When Dan Campbell comes out and says, yeah, we're looking at another wide receiver, and you have a guy like Dylan Drummond that's producing, it's good news for your football team.
Another guy who could benefit from a big showing in the preseason game. It's guys like that, yes.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Let's see here. Chuck Brewer, preseason is to get into shape and unknowns to try and become knowns. That's a great way to summarize it. Super Saiyan Lions, you mean fans don't give a crap about preseason players trying to make the team care? Yeah, I think I know what you meant by that, and yes, sure. Uncle Neil's soft feet, Mama Flannel approves of his bad takes. Well, you know what? Your mother supports you.
I mean,
it's all that matters.
Let me ask you guys this before we ride out on the sunset. Do you guys like my Aiden Hutchinson and Brian Branch takes?
Yeah, Sam Flannel, I do.
Who's more positive about those two than I am?
Well, here's the thing. I saw a comment earlier that all we do is crap on Lions players. I don't know what show they're watching.
Yeah.
Because we don't. I think we're very fair. I wouldn't say we gas up and drink all the Kool-Aid, although we like to point out guys like Brian Branch, who's going to be a good player. I mean, it doesn't take Kool-Aid to understand that. You just know when you watch. Yep. But we also are critical when you need to be. I think that's a big part. You have to be able to be subjective. You have to be able to be fair, and that's what makes a show is what 100%. It is. I think Sam Flannel, you do a good job of that.
Thank you.
Even though I disagree with you about Jameson Williams, and I think Aaron Rodgers
and David Montgomery.
Just say they're going to the Super Bowl, Sam Flannel.
I will not say that because they're losing to Kansas City.
Say it, Flannel. Say it.
They have Dalvin Cook now, Flannel.
They do.
Patrick Mahomes has Isaiah Pacheco, Clyde Edwards-Helaire.
You know what?
Jerick McKinnon.
Best roster in football?
No, it will make their loss at Arrowhead in the AFC Championship game a little closer. That's what it's going to do.
A little close enough to win?
No, not close enough to win.
Oh, not close enough to win, though, ladies and gentlemen. He's not going to say it, but eventually I'm going to make this man say it. You're going to say the Jets are going to win that thing. I know you're good. Eventually,
he loves Patrick Mahomes too much.
My plan is to break Flannel, so he says, he's like, fine, the Jets are going to win the Super Bowl. Fine, I'll say it. Hopefully we can make him say it one day. But that's all we have. I wanted to go a little over for the people. I didn't want to end it at 10 o'clock. I mean, we can't go 25 minutes over, unfortunately, because we have to get ready for Big D Energy, which will be here in less than an hour. And they'll be rolling. But again, guys, I just want to say this before we leave. I appreciate the people that were patient, that stuck with us, that watched the show even after the audio issues. Like, that means a ton to us. Again, there's no excuses. This isn't going to be a repetitive thing. Lately, we have been on top of everything, so this is an anomaly, hopefully moving forward. But I just want to say thank you to every single one of you that still like the video. Don't forget, like it before you leave if you can. Support the boys. And just have a great rest of your day. And if you can, come down here to 5 Iron. Come hang with the boys. We'll be down here hanging out, taking some practice swings, looking awful. So it is what it is. Appreciate all of you. Until tomorrow, we'll be down at Links and Novi for D-Max Golf Outing to preview the game on Saturday. Can't wait for it. Jeff Iafrate, Sam Flannel, Lucas Klotz, JB, all with you on this Thursday morning. I'll see you guys.